And here we are with our experts joined live. We'll be answering your stock-specific question. Rajesh Agarwal and Kunal Bothra with us today. Hi, good morning, both of you, and welcome to the show. Let's just quickly take a technical take from Kunal. Kunal, market looks flat, but the IT and reality definitely in terms of sectors who are going up and firing up. A lot of stock-specific action. How are you looking at the major as well as the broader market index?
See, good morning. First of all, I think it's a very interesting kind of a market. One, because the Nifty is holding on to that 24,000 mark broadly on the spot levels. The bank Nifty is the one which is underperforming. But then on the sectoral tilt, I would say that there are new leaders which are emerging. The Nifty Realty Index has done very well. IT stocks apparently have looked quite strong so far. I think it's up almost 14-15% so far in this month. And then you're looking at many of the other individual stocks which have started to look attractive. The QCOM space, etc., Eternals, etc. So I would sense that we are in a phase of the market where the ones or the sectors which have performed very well, they are the ones which are continuing to charge premium, and the ones which have underperformed, they are the ones which one has to stay away. For example, the private sector banking names, the PSU banking lot, on a RS scale also, relative strength scale also, I think these sectors have underperformed so far in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I think that's where one has to try and take some bit of caution.
All right, let's quickly jump into the stock-specific queries part of our show. That's the most interesting part, and why all of our viewers watch as well. The first query that we've got is coming in from Mr. Pinisetti. The stock in focus is SBI, and he's looking for a recommendation of whether he should hold the stock. He's acquired these stocks at an entry price of 1,020, sitting at a bit of a loss on that front. Kunal, what's your take on this stock?
See, I'm assuming that if it's a long-term kind of a time frame, then you can continue to hold on to SBI. It's a quality stock. It's going through a bit of a corrective phase. But then, we've seen the pedigree of the stock in the last many years, that the stock has a tendency of making a very strong and a roaring comeback. Be it the case in mid of 2025, when the stock was almost at 850, 875. From there, the stock moved up to 1,200 plus end of 2025 or start of 2026. So I would sense that it's more like a resting phase for SBI. You need to have a time frame which is at least medium to long term. If that's the case, I would suggest to hold on.
Okay, let's move on. This question is coming in on WhatsApp from Nitin. He's from Nashik, and he wants a fundamental as well as technical take on two counters. Good time to average Siemens, and the other one is BSE. Okay, so let's go with the fundamental take first. Rajesh, so he has bought BSE at 2407, and for Siemens, the entry price around 3516.
Good morning, Kavita. Good morning, Mariel. Good morning, Kunal. Taking one by one. Siemens 3516, I think it's Siemens Energy, if I'm not wrong. Strong company, no doubt on that. Good order book. It has been recently demerged from the Siemens Limited, and doing very well. They are doing capex too. Going forward with the kind of demand generation which we are witnessing, I think these kind of companies are going to do well. Every dips should be taken as an opportunity to accumulate. As far as BSE is concerned, BSE is a strong buy from our side. They have different segments like capital market where they give equity derivatives sort of thing. In mutual fund, they have Star Mutual Fund. In Gift City, they have their presence for international market, 15% holding in CDSL, strong balance sheet, debt-free, doing very well. And the best part is the FNO market share, which was almost zero some time back, they have gained considerable numbers there. And Sensex and Bankex are doing very well. The correction from almost 4,400 to 3,500 is giving a good opportunity for a long-term investor. By long-term, I mean at least 1 year or 18 months. If somebody is ready to hold that kind of time for that time horizon, one can even accumulate at that. Somebody holding can hold both these stocks.
All right, you can hold, but then can you also average, and what should be the level at which you should be proceeding with an average strategy, Kunal?
See, I would suggest to not average at the current levels for both of these names. Now, I understand that both Siemens and BSE are top quality names, but on the longer term charts, it looks like that these stocks are now going through their patch of mean reversion. They could drop by another few percentage points near term wise. So I would suggest to just wait for maybe another few weeks, let these stocks confirm maybe one more round of correction. That's where I think better price points could originate.
Right. So wait for one more round of price correction when it comes to Siemens and BSE. The next stock that we have in focus, it's a query coming in from Sagar. He's asking about HDFC AMC. He's holding 23,000 shares at an entry price of 29, and he's not mentioned his horizon. So we'll just continue to take sort of a fundamental view on this stock. Rajesh, is this a name in your coverage?
Yeah, for a long-term horizon, one can continue to hold. AMC business as a whole is doing very well. HDFC is the second largest AMC at this point of time, doing very well. The kind of SIP numbers which we are witnessing month on month is giving the hopes that AMC business is going to do well. And the fact remains that HDFC AMC has a large portfolio of equity. That's a high margin business. So continue to hold.
All right, so that's the take on HDFC AMC. But then let's move on. We have a viewer on the phone line also, Mr. Thomas George from Cochin. Hi, good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I am fine. Yeah.
All right, so you can ask your question. Our experts can hear you.
Yeah, I can. I have got two companies in my watch list.
Okay.
One is Ather Energy, and the other one is Ather Industries. One is in two-wheeler space, and the other one is in specialty chemicals.
Right.
I would like to put some money in any one of these two companies, and for the long term, which of these would be a better bet?
Okay, so almost 12 months time horizon, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a fundamental as well as technical take. The buying strategy Kunal would be answering on. But then Rajesh, which one would you choose?
At this point of time, I would avoid both. Both have run up quite a lot after the news came in that as a government is putting some money into Ather Energy. They ran up quite a lot. The numbers were okayish type, but I don't think at these levels somebody should enter. Even in specialty as the other one, the entire sector is not performing that well. So if somebody has to be in those kind of business, maybe a large cap names like a Balaji M Mines or a sort of thing, Lakshmi Organic would be a better name.
All right, so there are better names, Mr. George, which Rajesh is recommending. Otherwise, both the counters can be avoided. But what's on the technical chart? And since we are talking about technicals, Kunal, do you think a short-term strategy is advisable in any of these counters, or even you would recommend a complete quit?
No, I'll recommend maybe a buy on dips on Ather Industries. I think that's a chart which is looking attractive. So, what's happened is over the last 3 or 4 quarters, the stock has done very well. But then I think, the only concern is that you'll have to try and strategize your entry, because current levels, the stocks are looking a little overstretched. Maybe you'll have to wait for dips. If dips don't come by, then you'll have to try and, add up quantities on minor corrections for the stock so that you can, get your average price as lower as possible. I would suggest that should be a style and a strategy which you need to adopt. And yes, a time frame of at least 12 months to 18 months is required, because what's happened is that, for example, Ather Industries, the stock has moved from 720 levels to 1500 in the last 4 quarters. There could be a possibility that for the next 1 or 2 quarters, the stock may remain sideways, and then the momentum would come back again, maybe in the second half or in the subsequent 2 quarters post that. So you'll have to be a little bit more patient over here, and that's why you need to have a time frame of at least 12 to 18 months or more into these stocks.
All right, so a buy on dips is what we're getting on Ather Energy. The next query is coming in from Davda. He's asking about Bondada Engineering. He's holding about 200 shares at an entry price of 421. I'd like to take this to Rajesh. What do you think about this stock, and how is it placed in the broader engineering space?
Try to exit on every upticks, I would say. All the positives have already been discounted after the listing. They run up quite a lot. And at this point of time, I don't find any reasons to believe to be in the stock. So try to exit on any upsides.
All right, exit on any of the upsides, that's recommended. But with that, it's time for a short break. Post that, more stock-specific queries are being answered. So do not miss the opportunity. Keep sending us your questions. Our number is flashing on top of the screen.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. And without wasting any time, let's jump right into the WhatsApp queries that we're taking. The next query is coming in from Shankar, contacting us from Delhi. He's asking about Bank of Maharashtra and Nippon Life for a long-term perspective. Mr. Rajesh, tell us, do you cover these stocks and what's your outlook on them?
Bank of Maharashtra, strong performance in the last 2 years. Every quarter, the numbers have been improving. Asset quality has improved. They have raised money. Capital structure is good. And the kind of growth the bank has shown in the last few quarters is one of the best in its peer groups. I think even if after this kind of run up from almost 40 odd levels to 80 plus, there are bright chances that in the next 6 to 9 months, with the kind of performance we might see the stock going into 3 figures. So one can accumulate this stock on dips. The other one you said?
The other one's Nippon Life, sir.
Nippon Life, yes, one can carry on, but as far as AMC business is concerned, as I discussed earlier, SBI AMC or a HDFC AMC would be a better bet.
All right, let's move on and let's take this question. This is coming from Mr. Sarabjit Singh Kalsi, and GIC Housing is the stock. Entry price is 345. The other stock is DCB Bank. The entry price is 140, and he's been holding these counters since a decade now and wants to know when he can sell or maybe switch to any other counter. Well, I wonder why is he not booking his profit in one of these counters. But all right, Kunal, let's give him a short-term strategy.
See, short-term wise, I think GIC could still underperform. It looks like because the stock is struggling to even hold above its long-term averages. The near-term trend, the short-term trend is still negative for GIC Housing. Maybe I think switching on to some other name in the similar sector could be a slight better strategy. Maybe few of the prominent performers in that space could be a better strategy if you're looking to take that switch. If not, then you can continue to hold on and just wait for the point where the stock starts to come back into an inflection zone, where it starts to come back at least in terms of at par performance with respect to the sector. For DCB Bank, I think it's a good stock to hold on to as of now. The near-term charts are still bullish. We've seen the weekly and the monthly indicators are still in the bullish territory. The stock has to confirm a breakout about 205 mark. So I think if the stock happens to give a breakout about those 205 levels, then there are higher targets which open up for the stock around 240, 245 on the long-term basis. So assuming if a time frame is long-term, just wait out for a point where DCB Bank crosses about 205 levels. Then you can trail your stop losses and continue to ride the momentum on the upside.
All right, that's the take coming in on DCB Bank. Now our next query is coming in from Arvind Desai. He's holding Ramco Systems and he's holding 30 shares at an entry price of 933. He is currently sitting on a loss on this counter and he's looking for ideas to switch out from this stock. Kunal, what opportunities do you see in the market right now for this viewer?
See, I think for the stock, specifically for Ramco Systems, I think the viewer has bought or purchased at an extremely high price. And I think on 7th of July itself, the stock had actually made a high of 930, 960. And from there, it's fallen very sharply towards 600 levels. It's into a lower circuit right now. So I'm not sure, at what price point will the stock open from this lower circuit. But you'll have to be a little bit more careful. The stock may retrace back towards the 200 moving average. If you're looking for a current opportunity, want to replace this capital towards some other name, then I would believe that maybe shifting on to IT stocks or realty names or buying on dips could slightly be a better strategy from here on, assuming if a time frame is 6 months to 1 year at least into these sectors.
Okay, next question is specifically for Kunal. This is coming in from Mr. S. Vidya from Chennai. And MV Photovoltaic wants to know the level where he can accumulate more for a long-term strategy. Entry price is 290.
I don't track the stock, so I'll have to give it a skip.
All right, Rajesh, would you like to cover this?
Even I don't track.
All right, let's move on to the other WhatsApp question. This is again from Ramya, and the stock is Eternal. Entry price is 239. Wants to know if it's the right time to hold or can wait for long if there's a good outlook. Rajesh?
See, Blinkit has started performing, no doubt on that. The numbers is showing that. They have increased the dark stores. But the problem is increased competition, whether it's from Instamart or Jio coming in, or even Flipkart has given a sound that they are going to enter into grocery business. Competition is hotting up, no doubt, and Zepto issue is also in the anvil. So the only issue at this point of time is Zepto, and it would be the survival of the fittest kind of thing going forward. But at these levels, I think one can continue with Eternal for maybe a 10% upside from these levels in the next 6 months.
Right, so that's the take coming in from Eternal. But on that note, let's slip into a very short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be addressing more of your stock-specific queries on the other side.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. We're answering your stock-specific question. This next question is again a WhatsApp question. This is coming in from Mr. K. Setu Madhavan from Coimbatore, and the stock is L&T. Entry price is 4050. Wants to know what should be done at the current rate. Okay, so the results are due today, and the expectation is almost around muted results. Rajesh, I'll go with you first.
Kavita, if the gentleman has a time horizon of 12 to 18 months or even longer, it's a buy from a side. Every dip should be taken as an opportunity. With 6 lakh crores of order book, I think it's one of the best companies. It's a proxy play if you believe that Indian economy is going to do well. And the best part is the major part of order comes from Middle East, and with the kind of restriction which we have seen in Middle East, I think going forward the order inflows are going to be great from those sides. 1 or 2 quarters might be muted because of various reasons, but a company like L&T should be held for a long-term portfolio.
12 to 18 months view, you should be holding on to it. Kunal, a short-term strategy?
Short-term, see, results, as it is, we don't recommend stocks just prior to the results.
Right.
So I'll probably skip that. But assumingly, if post-results, say if there is a 3-4-5% correction for L&T, and if the stock comes closer to, say, 3,700 mark, then I think that could be a good point where you may consider average out. Because, L&T is like a proxy towards the benchmark indices. We've seen points where L&T has a 75% plus kind of a correlation with respect to the movements on the Nifty 50 benchmark indices. So which means if you're bullish on the index, I think L&T has to become an integral part in terms of the performance over there. So it all depends on your time frame, your view which you're looking at. If you're bullish on the markets and if you're looking to hold on to these solid stocks from a long-term perspective, then buy on dips is what I would advise for L&T.
All right, a positive view with a buy on dips coming in for L&T. The next query coming in is from Dilip Roy. He's asking about Dabur. He's holding 50 shares at an entry price of 428. And he wants to know what the target will be. Well, looking at the current market price, he's sitting on only a marginal profit right now. Kunal, what's your view? Do you see further upside from here?
Yeah, I think FMCG stocks overall have underperformed over the last many months. Over the last, I think, 7-8 quarters or so, we've seen stocks like Dabur, for example, falling from 650 levels to 400, 430, where it's trading right now. So this could be an opportune time for traders who are looking at building their portfolios around these FMCG stocks. Of course, time is something which could be tested because these stocks have a tendency of going into consolidation, trading ranges for many months on a trot. So assuming if you're looking at this as a long-term bet, then I think having names like Dabur, adding on to other FMCG stocks like maybe Nestle, Britannia, etc., could be a good proposition.
All right, let's move on. And on the side of the screen, you can see live visuals coming in from HUL earnings press conference, which will start anytime now. But then before we slip into more queries, Rajesh, a quick take on HUL. See the numbers. We did see a decline in consolidated net profit to 2673 crore for the first quarter. That has missed a lot of analyst estimates, due to one-off tax credit. But is there a long-term story over here if one wants to buy at current levels, Rajesh?
The numbers have been muted. I have no doubts on that, and it has been muted from last 2-3 quarters because of various reasons. One, the commodity prices have affected the margin. 2, there have been a lot of competition from online new businesses which have
Rajesh,
come
the
in.
press conference has started. We'll take a